Hi, welcome to today. I thought we'd have a little look at the bubble sort. One thing that's very important in programming and computer science is algorithms. So algorithms are basically simple methods that we use to show a computer how to do something. So one of the tasks that we want a computer to do quite often is to sort a list of numbers. And there are different ways of doing this. The bubble sort is one of them. It's not a particularly efficient algorithm because it does take quite a lot of time compared to some of the other ways of doing things. But it does work, and it works quite well on lists that are already almost sorted. So I thought it'd be a good one to have a look at just to get us started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the algorithm works in a very simple program. Then we're going to do something a little bit more complicated just to demonstrate how it performs. So if I start by making a list which has got some numbers in it that are not quite in order, two, three, five. Okay, so then I'm going to set a variable. Well, I'll print it out first actually. Then I'm going to set a variable called length. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to repeat the checking procedure once for every item that I've got. So for I in range, length, and then I need to actually go over every item in the list. For j in range, I'm going to go length -1. You'll see why in a moment. Then I'm going to check to see if the current item in the list that I'm looking at is bigger than the next one. If it is, we're going to sort them over. So if my list j is greater than my list j plus 1, then we're going to swap them. It's very easy to just do a swap like that in Python. We just go my list j, comma, my list j plus 1, sorry, and then we do equals, and then we just invert the order of those two. So we've got my list j plus 1, comma, my list j. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out my list within the loop as well. So that should give us some output. So if you look at this output here, you can see that it's gone through there, and each time it's found that 4 was larger than the number in front, it's switched it round until it's got to the end, and then obviously it's stopped. So that's basically how the bubble sort works. But what I want to do now is make a slightly more advanced, well, slightly more interesting program, which just allows us to see how that's working and do a few other things with it. So I'm going to save this file as bubble sort. And then I'm going to start off by actually defining a function. Well, actually, first of all, I'm going to import random. So from random import shuffle. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a routine that shuffles some numbers in a list. So to get them in a random order. So we'll do that there. So, but first of all, I want a little function which is going to be called getList. And that's going to be something that takes some data from the user. So that's my doc string. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little loop that keeps running if there's an error, if there's something wrong. So I'm going to start with error equals true, print, enter your numbers, leave a space between each one. So those are the sort of instructions that I'm giving to my user. And then I'm going to have a while loop. So while error is true, so if there is something wrong, we're going to keep doing this. So first of all, we're going to set error to false, because we're hoping that the user will not make a mistake. Then we're going to take some data into a temporary file, sorry, a temporary variable. Then we're going to use then we're going to use a little thing called split. So what that's going to do is it's going to try to take the data that's been input, which obviously comes in as a string, and it's going to try and break that down into individual items in a list. Now we do need to just check that everything's okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go for item in my list, try item equals float item. So we're going to see if we can turn that into a number. If that doesn't work, then we're going to print a little message to the user, print only numbers and spaces, please. That should do the job. And we're going to set error to true. That means, yep, there was something wrong. We need to try again. And if that happens, I'm going to do break. Which just breaks out of the loop. If we've managed to get to the end of the while loop, then we can return my list. Okay, so hopefully that should do the job. Now what we're going to do is just test that function now, because it's a pretty good idea to do that. So let's start writing some of our main part of our program. Full stop in there as well, and then just I'm going to say unsorted equals get number. So let's just check that, because I may have made some errors there. Let's just see. Oh, name get number is not defined. Oh, that's because I've put get number. Huh. Sorry. Okay. Right, so now I've got the data there. So if I type in 1, 2, 3, 4, it's quite happy. I should have just added actually. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, it prints me a list with 1, 2, 3, 4. If I put commas in, because I haven't listened to the instructions, oh, that's because I'm not running the program. I don't know what's happening there. If I do commas, it's going to ask me to try again. If I'm really dense and I try to type in words, it's not going to be happy. But if I say do that, then it's quite happy with that. Okay, So that's the sort of list entry part of the program working quite well. Okay, so I'll tell you what, we'll move on to the main part of the program now actually anyway, and we'll go back and write the actual bubble sort function in a while. So what I actually want to happen is, instead of doing that at this stage, I'm going to say unsorted is an empty list, and then I'm going to give the user a few different options. So this is just one way that you can actually set up a little menu in a text-based program. There's various ways of doing it. This is one. So first of all, I'm going to set answer to none. So that just means that it won't actually complain if I try and find out what's in answer. So while answer doesn't equal Q, because that's the thing I'm going to use as my quit, then I'm going to say print, and then I'm going to use one of these triple quoted strings here that we've seen before, because that actually allows me to use a bit of layout, and it will print out exactly as I have typed it. So you have three options. Just put that one there, one. So I'm going to give the user the option to use the numbers 1 to 20 shuffle just to test out the bubble sort. Oops, 2. Input your own values, or Q. Just quit. Should have given that a capital, really. Okay, so now I can close my quotes in my bracket. So that should be okay. Now I'm going to ask for what they want to do. So I say answer equals input. What do you want to do? If answer equals Q, continue. Could have used break there as well actually, but that'll just jump to the beginning of the loop again, and when it realizes it's Q, it'll exit. Elif answer equals 1. So if that's the case, then we're going to actually initialize the list. I've missed something out actually, which I'll have to go back and put in, but we'll do that first. So we're going to say unsorted equals list. This is a nice little function that Python does, which just says, okay, I'm going to create a list for you from 0 to 20. Then we can actually shuffle the list. I'm going to print that message to the user. Randomized list. Then need an elif there. Elif answer equals 2. And that's where I'm going to put my unsorted equals get list in. And then I'm going to say print. You gave me what I've forgotten to do actually is just to put in here something which will stop it if the user enters something that's not part of. actually, I think we can do that down here just as well. It doesn't really matter. So if I say else, print unrecognised choice, and we're going to continue. I think I know why I did it differently before, but I did it slightly differently in my other version, but we'll try that. Okay, so, and then after that, hopefully by this point, once we've broken out of the loop, sorry, we haven't broken out of the loop yet, but we should have our list there, so we can print unsorted. Let's just see if that's working okay. So if I type in 1, it gives me a randomised list of numbers from 1 to 20. Obviously it's still looping through at the moment because I haven't done anything else. If I say 2, it's going to give me this option. If I type Q, it should quit. So that's pretty much what I wanted. The other thing I just wanted to check is just if it copes alright with some kind of bogus entry. Yeah, unrecognised choice. So that little bit is working okay. So what I want to do now is just to put in the next part. So I've got my unsorted list printed out to the user just so that they know what we're working with. There's a check there for them. So now I need to call my function. So I'm going to pass that list of numbers to my bubble function, my bubble sort function, and actually what it's going to return is the number of swaps that took place. That's why I've called it swaps. So it's going to give us the sorted list. It's going to print it out, although of course now it is sorted, but still. And it's also going to print out how many swaps were made. Do that just because it might sometimes be only one swap. Okay, so now we need to go and write the bubble sort function itself. So just go back to the top there. So I do def bubble sort, and it's going to take a list. So I'm just going to call it some list for now. Put a doc string in. So that's my doc string. Bubble sort function takes a list and returns the number of swaps. So the function is pretty much the same as the one we just looked at, but there's a few other little bits and bobs to it. So j equals length sum list. Made swap equals true. Swaps equals 0 to start with. So what this is going to do is it's going to keep running until it comes to a point where it doesn't need to make a swap, at which point it'll exit the loop. So first of all we set made swap to false. That'll be set back to true if a swap is made. I'm going to loop over the whole list again. K in range j minus 1, because j is now holding the length of my list. If, this is very similar, sum list k greater than sum list k plus 1. Then I'm just going to cheat here a little bit and copy and paste that. Sum list k, comma, sum list k plus 1, whoops, equals sum list k plus 1, comma, sum list k. So that's my little swapping function routine going on there. So if that happens, we want made swap to be true. We need to add one to the swaps counter. And then hopefully we should be done. So okay, so let's just try the first option. I've made something wrong there, haven't I? Okay. Ah, that's it. That's what happens when you cut and paste. Okay, so what that's telling me is that it's made 127 swaps to sort that randomized list of numbers into the correct order. If I want to, I can input my own values. So let's just try what happens if I put 54321 in the wrong way. So that's going to take 15 swaps just to organize those numbers in the correct order. Okay, well that's pretty much it for today. What I thought we would do though is revisit the idea of sorting algorithms again. I'm going to do a tutorial on something called the quick sort algorithm, which is a much better algorithm in terms of speed, and we'll do that in a future session. Okay, thanks for watching.